The car market could be accused of over the years becoming a bit stagnant, with all the cars just looking the same and being roughly comparable on paper. But every so often a new generation of car comes along and it makes everybody pay attention, especially rival manufacturers. Volkswagen had it with the original Mark 1 Golf, BMW had it with the E30 and Mazda had it with the MX-5. But Ford really went all out when they did this, the Mark 1 Focus. What you have to remember is that back in the 90s, Ford weren't exactly having a great time. Yes, there was some epic Cosworth stuff, but the sort of standard models they weren't that great. I mean, the Mark III Fiesta was basically underneath a Mark 1 Fiesta, except somehow it managed to rust even faster. And then there was stuff like the Mark V Escort, which was just a great big bloated turd with hopeless driving dynamics. Ford needed to get something that could go toe to toe with leading manufacturers, but perhaps they were slightly scared after the futuristically styled Mark 1 Sierra. It didn't actually go down too well initially with the public. What Ford did next was frankly astonishing with the Mark 1 Focus. At a time when Volkswagen had come out with the Mark 4 Golf that seemed solid and dependable, although in hindsight maybe not, the Focus was incredible and it came out with brilliant style and solid build quality. I know these days a Mark 1 Ford Focus looks pretty, normal, but back in 1998 this looked great. I mean, it's almost how you would react now to something like a BMW i3. It had the new Edge design language that had come over from the Ka. I remember back in 96 as a schoolboy and seeing the Ford Ka come out. It looked incredible. It looked like a concept car for the road, its big plastic bumpers and its bubble car-like shape. I mean, nowadays it just sort of looks pretty average and usually rusty. Inside the Focus looks completely different to any other Ford of the same era. You've got this sort of angular dashboard, soft touch plastics on the touch points, and the thing you mainly notice is just how solid everything actually feels. If you were to cover up the badge on this car back in 1998 and asked a punter to guess who the manufacturer was, they wouldn't have guessed it was a Ford. One thing that I get really excited about, because I am a sad bastard, is that when you start to dig a bit deeper on the Focus, you notice the attention to detail on things. Like, for instance, when you go to change a fuse. You see, you open the glove box on this side, sort of give it a pinch, and it folds down, and then you've got easy access to the fuse panel. And on the back of the glove box, it's got a panel with a well-illustrated diagram of what all the fuses are and what they do. You can just tell that it's been very well designed and well thought through. It's not exactly unique in the car world to have a fuse diagram, but it's just that whole setup has been well thought through. And then on top of that, you can just see little bits of sound deadening that have been inserted into places around the car. There's other things of note as well in the interior, and that is there's no cable to release the bonnet. That sort of cheap feeling thunk as you pull the lever just wouldn't do. So it's actually got a keyhole in the front, and it's behind a sort of Q Division-esque swivelling Ford badge. It seems like such a silly thing to pick up on a bonnet release system, but it's little things like that that make you realise how much Ford must have invested into this platform, because doing something like that would not have been cheap in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to a simple cable release. But it's not just about funny little snazzy touches like that. It's about the way this thing drives. See, underneath, and I suppose 95% of Focus owners wouldn't even be that bothered about this, it's a real sports car. Ha-ha! You can stop laughing now though, because seriously, underneath, the Focus has got some very trick suspension. Whereas most hatchbacks from around the same era all had torsion beam at the back, this had fully independent rear suspension. What this means is that the Focus can, and has, rivaled a lot of sports cars for its handling. I've not gone completely insane, and I'm not saying that an £800 car is now some sort of supercar slayer. It's just very good for the type of car that it is. I mean, you can drive it like a complete lunatic and it'll just hold on. The easiest thing I would compare it to is something like an Audi Quattro. Not the originals because they understeer, but The newer ones, when you drive one of those and you go into a bend, you can sort of go in at any speed and the car just seems to sort it all out for you. The Focus feels like that, and it's just front wheel drive. Don't believe me? Well, listen to this German man talking about it.
It's fun to drive. We built Ford Focus on an unusually stiff platform and body structure. This reduces noise levels inside, provides a more effective occupant safety cage, and a very robust base for our new suspension systems. The front suspension is a highly refined, low-friction McPherson strut design, complete with anti-roll bar, for very smooth, progressive control. Our new fully independent control blade rear suspension is a type of multi-link system usually fitted to much larger cars. Our suspension is quieter, handles and rides better, and has excellent anti-dive properties under heavy braking. It's a leap forward in vehicle dynamics, flattering and rewarding all driving styles, and helping increase safety margins too.
Ah, so 90s, but you see, flattering and rewarding all driving styles is techno speak for you can be a ham-fisted idiot and still enjoy this car. Win. The steering in the Focus is precise and it gives really good feedback. It's brilliant. The only negative thing I would say about the whole driving package though is the gearbox. It's a cable operated one rather than being a linkage, so it kind of feels a bit like a switch, like it's not connected to anything. It is a minor gripe though. Oh, and the clock. It looks shit. As we're going up this steep hill here, you might be able to hear another good part of the car. The Focus got a whole new range of Zetec hinges that were developed alongside Yamaha. They're brilliant little revvy units and have got a little bit of a burble to them. They sound quite good. And on top of that, they've got a brilliant balance of performance, economy, and they're notoriously solidly reliable. Something also not totally obvious, because the design does such a good job of hiding it, is how tall the Focus actually is. There's loads of headroom and it gives it this really big airy feel, and it's got a big glass house, so you've just got great all-round visibility, which is something you don't really get anymore, which is why everything needs bloody parking sensors. But that's new safety regs for you. The downside of the Mark 1 Focus for Ford was that they never really bothered to follow it up with another game changer. It's a bit like Rambo First Blood or Die Hard. You know, they tried to use the same ingredients and hoped that no one had noticed that they hadn't really bothered to up their game. Nowadays, the youngest Mark 1 Focus you can get is 10 years old, and getting hold of a good one is damn near impossible because people tend to hold on to them until they've run them into the ground, and given how reliable and solid they are, they're going to be completely knackered by the time you get your hands on it. So the only option is to go with the later thing, and that is to pick up a Mark 2. I mean, yes, the Mark II Focus is no doubt a good car, and underneath it's kind of hiding a Mark 1 Focus, but it just lost something by getting that bit bigger, and I don't know what happened with the styling. Especially pre-facelift. I think they were trying to compete with the Golf by trying to look kind of bland, and it just never really worked. And the fuse box is a pain in the arse to get to. I know some people might think I've gone a bit mad making an homage to the Mark 1 Ford Focus, but I genuinely believe in terms of a game-changing, influential, affordable, normal family hatchback, it's yet to be beaten.